I think you should chase what energizes you. Everyone talks about passion, legacy, purpose,
Yeah,
la, la, la,
yeah.
la, la, la. The one word to pay attention to is energy.
I love that.
That's it. Let's simplify this.
Okay.
So whatever energizes you, naturally expands you, feels like possibility, is exciting to do. It may be scary. That doesn't matter. It has to do with how it makes you feel.
Right.
When you were in your 20s, money made you feel good. It expanded you. It energized you. Chasing the money, that was the game. That was your passion. That was your There's nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that. And I particularly want to say that to the women that are watching.
Yeah, hell yeah.
Because it is socialized into women not to chase success like that, not to go after the money. And so if what energizes you is amassing wealth, go for it. But and the reason why I say that is because people talk about the word passion or purpose.
Right.
And the truth is, it's not a person, place, or a thing. It's not. It is the feeling of being expanded and energized.
Right.
If you're pursuing your passion, it means that you wake up every day and are energized. So instead of trying to think, what's my purpose? What's my passion? What's my purpose? What's my passion? I don't know.
Yeah.
Instead of thinking like that, I want you instead to ask yourself, what could I do today that would energize me? What energizes me? If it's making money, figure out how to make money.
Right.
If it is making a difference, figure out how to make a difference. It could be in any single shape or form. But if it energizes you, that's what you need to follow. And what happens is that passion also, because it's energy, it dissipates over time. Because when you first start making money, it's f***ing thrilling.
Yeah.
But what happens is once you learn how to do something once, you can do it over and over again. And so it starts to become routine, which means it's no longer energizing.
Right.
Which is why every entrepreneur out there goes through the mode of chasing the money, and then you hit the money that you need to make, and then you're like, I'm not fulfilled. What's my purpose? I don't know what to do.
Yeah, I went through that.
I need to find I did everybody does.
Yeah.
And it's because you were energized by the money, and now you're not.
Yeah.
Now you got to be energized by the next thing.
Yeah.
And for you, it's clearly service. It's clearly making a difference. It's empowering others. And so when I look back on my trajectory, the thing that energizes me is making people feel like they matter.
Yeah.
It's that simple. It is giving people hope in a situation where they don't have it. It is shining a light on the path forward when somebody feels stuck in darkness. And now that I know that those moments are the things that make me get up out of bed and energize me, I can trace back all the way to the moment of being a public defender in Manhattan, 22 years old, straight out of law school, defending a kid who, and I met him for the first time, he had been arrested. I met him during night court in New York City. I was a brand new young attorney. This kid had been arrested. He had been arrested for throwing a champagne bottle in the middle of Times Square on New Year's Eve, and it had come down on a woman and had sliced her face open.
Oh my God.
And he had been ID'd and pointed at by her friends as allegedly the kid who had done it. And he was a junior in high school. High school kid on his way to go to junior college, mom working hard, terrified, absolutely terrified. And I met him because he had been arrested, and the family couldn't afford a lawyer, and I was a legal aid criminal defense attorney, and I was assigned to represent him. And I remember walking back into the cages behind the judge's bench, because if you look at a judge in a courtroom, there's two doors, typically, one to the right, one to the left. One of those doors leads to the hallway, which is what all the court officers and administrative workers walk to, that's behind the court system. The other one leads to cages that are behind the judge, which is where they hold the inmates as they're waiting to come in and get arraigned, or they're waiting, for the trial. And so I walked back there and I called out this kid's name, and I just remember him asking, is my mom out there? Is my mom out there? And I said, look, I'm going to tell you something. I'm going to make you 2 promises. I'm going to get you out of here tonight, and I'm going to do everything I can. He was like, I didn't do it. I didn't do it. I didn't do it. I swear to God, I didn't do it. And I promised him, I said, I'm going to get you out of here tonight, and I'm going to do everything I possibly can to clear your name. And I remember the relief in his face. And he said, you believe me? I said, of course I believe you.
Gave him hope.
Holy shit. That moment, my heart blew open. And it's those moments where you give somebody hope, where you show them the path forward, where you're stronger and clearer in that moment than they are. So now they can be.
Yeah.
And that's what I show up and do every single day. You know, I talk a lot about being honest with yourself about what you want. And if you're somebody that's watching this and you have no clue what you want, I'm going to say that's total bullshit. I think you've probably decided that either you can't have it because you don't think you're smart enough or good enough or worthy enough, or maybe you think you're too old, or you've told yourself that you can't make a living doing it. Both are complete and utter lies that you're telling yourself. What you need to do is ask yourself this. If you took money off the table, if you didn't give a shit what anybody else thought, what's the thing you would love to be doing with your life? Seriously. Do you dream of being a professional photographer? Do you want to open your own restaurant? You always thought about traveling the world and entertaining kids with your juggling skills. I don't know, it's your life. You get to choose what you want to do. Be honest with yourself. What is it that you would want to do with your life if you didn't have to pay the bills doing it? Another thing you can ask yourself, who do you find yourself sort of envious of? You know, like you look at their life and you just think, gosh, how awesome that they get to do that. Well, once you have that answer for yourself, you've gotten really honest, you've pushed the bullshit aside, and you've really asked it for yourself and answered the question honestly, all you got to do is explore it. That's it. Just find one thing that you can do to enrich and expand your knowledge about it. Find one course online, Google the topic, stalk people that are pursuing this line of work. That's how you start to do it, one step at a time. So start with answering the question, what do you really want, with a massive dose of honesty. Google the topic and find one thing that you can do, just one. Push yourself and start to explore it. If you were to wake up and do that every single day, spend 10 minutes a day, you would be startled, astonished by what your life looks like in a matter of a year or two.
Money is a measurement to me.
Of what?
I'm making money.
Of what? What is money a measurement of?
Success.
Bullshit.
Well, it's for me, it's my belief.
I think you need to change your belief.
Well, maybe.
I'll tell you why. I'll tell you why. Because you say you value it.
Mm-hmm.
And yet your actions don't tell me that you do. Your actions tell me that you value connection, and you value purpose, and you value making a difference.
Right.
I think somebody else made you feel like it wasn't successful, or what you're doing is not helpful or big enough if there isn't money attached to it.
That's probably true.
That's 100% true.
Yeah.
I'm not saying it's not fun to have money, and I'm not saying it's not fun to make money. I love making money. I love building shit. I love all that stuff. But I will never be able to coach you in how to make money if in your heart you actually don't care about it. And I don't think you do. I think that somewhere back in history, you got it in your head that you're only successful if you're making money. And that's horseshit. You're successful if you are happy with who you are, and if you are happy with the life that you're living. That is what success is. If you get to spend your days on a podcast, talking to people, making a difference, you are a very successful person, particularly if you don't have to worry about whether or not it makes money. And so what I want you to do is I want you to go to work on dismantling this notion of what a successful life looks like. and what your worth is.
Yep.
You are wildly successful. Tell me why that's true.
Because I make a difference.
Fuck yes. That's right, Joyce. That's right. You focus on that and you show up with that energy on that podcast, and you show up with that energy with the women you're talking to. And trust me, if money's supposed to fall out of the sky, it will land in your lap. There is a reason why you haven't done it. Because deep in your soul, you know that's not what matters. You know what matters is what you're already doing. And I want you to launch yourself into a new chapter where you honor that and where you truly celebrate the fact that every day we have been given the gift of Joyce. Joyce has the ability to wake up every fucking day and make a difference in someone's life. Joyce has the ability to sit with people that are grieving and help them understand that grief is so important, because actually what you're present to is all the love that you feel. And Joyce has the ability to get people to talk about their trauma. And that's helping everybody. That is such a beautiful thing, Joyce. It is a gift that we have all been given, that you can do that.
Thank you.
What are you getting from this?
Oh, about tears. I always have tears. I'm just getting more permission just to sit back and enjoy life.
Yes.
And
Yes.
stay out of my head. Probably.
Yeah. You deserve to enjoy your life. I'm trying to learn that lesson too. And, suffering can become a habit. And it would be really wonderful if you could lead by example and enjoy yourself.
Yeah.
Beautiful job, Joyce. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. And if you are somebody who is struggling to figure out what your passion is in life, this coffee talk is for you. If you have a friend or a son or a daughter or a niece or a nephew who is struggling to figure out what their passion is, they don't know what to do with their life, this coffee talk is for them, and you should absolutely share it with them. So let's talk about passion. Passion is a really interesting topic because most of us have the wrong definition of passion. And for a long time, I did too. I get asked all the time, Gina, put a question on Instagram, because on Wednesday or on Friday, which was our last live broadcast, we were talking all about energy and about your inner compass. And Gina said, Mel, I'm really struggling to figure out what my purpose is. I have too many talents. How do I find my place in the world? Sorry, I just heard this loud noise, so I didn't know what it is. And I'm in a hotel, so I'm sure people are not happy with the fact that I am doing a live broadcast. So I'm going to keep my voice down just a little bit to be respectful of the people around me. So if you're struggling to find your passion, why don't you give me a thumbs up? Because this broadcast and this live training in Coffee Talk with Mel Robbins is going to give you the tools that you need in order to think about passion differently. And that's the problem. You see, the problem with passion is that you and I have bought into this massive fantasy world where we think that passion is a person or a place or a thing, that somehow, like a needle in a needle in a haystack, that you are somehow just going to stumble into the thing and you're going to find that one person, or you're going to find that one thing that you're meant to do, or you're going to find that career. And honestly, we got to change the way that you think about passion and purpose before you will actually be able to bring it into your life. Because the truth is, passion isn't in a person, it isn't in a place, and it isn't in a thing. It's something inside of you. And when you flip the definition of what passion is, and when you actually understand what you're looking for when you say, I want to discover my passion, then you'll be able to create more of it in your life. Okay, so let me give you a new definition of what passion is. You ready? Let me tell you what Gina's actually asking about when she says, I'm struggling to figure out my purpose and my passion. You ready? Here's your new definition of passion. Passion is simply energy. That's all that it is, okay? Passion is what you feel when you are energized and excited about what you're doing, okay? I want you to think about that for a minute. I want you to think about a moment in time when you felt incredibly passionate about something, okay? And why don't you in the comments tell me where are you watching from, and tell me about a moment in time when you felt incredibly passionate about what you were doing, about where you were, about the people that you were with. Describe that moment for me, because when you start to really investigate passion as energy, this is what you're going to discover. Those moments when you were super passionate, like I'm sure my kids would write down when they're doing community theater with all their friends. I would write down whenever I'm doing any kind of creative project with my team, I'm incredibly energized. Whenever I'm doing group exercise stuff, climbing a mountain, doing a 5K race, doing some sort of walkathon, I'm incredibly energized by that. Whenever I'm doing some sort of creative project, incredibly energized by that. Whenever I'm working with our video team, incredibly energized by that. Whenever I am coaching someone or giving advice, I am incredibly energized by that. And so what I want you to understand is that if you look back on your life, you have had moments where you have felt passion. Now, I'm being very deliberate in how I'm talking this morning on Coffee Talk because passion is a huge topic for so many of you. And you've been so focused on trying to figure out what job is going to make me passionate. What job is my passion? What is my purpose on the earth? I'm going to tell you what your purpose on earth is right now. Your purpose on earth is to figure out how to align your life so that you feel more energized and excited by it. That's it. And it begins with you following the energy and following your natural enthusiasm. You're not going to think your way to passion. You can't think your way to finding something that you feel in your heart. It doesn't work that way. You got to feel your way into it. It's inside of you. Do you understand? There's no passion out there somewhere. The passion is in here. And so what you have to do first is you've got to stop thinking that you're going to find it somewhere. And you've got to realize that passion is about unlocking something that's already in you. And so here's the thing. So for those of you that have been watching Coffee Talk for a while, or you've read the 5-Second Rule book, or maybe you used the 5-Second Journal, or maybe you took Mindset Reset with us this January, you've probably heard me talk about the fact that inside of you there is power. You have an inner compass, and that inner compass is always guiding you. And learning how to read that inner compass is essential if you want to unlock the passion that's already naturally inside you. Passion, again, isn't a person, place, or thing that you're going to find. It is a state of being that you unlock inside of yourself, and it is there, and you can tap into it right now. So there is an inner compass inside of you that I call an energy gauge. It's an energy gauge that reads the energy in you and around you. And that energy gauge goes from moments when you feel depleted, dead, and empty to moments where on the other side of the gauge, you feel energized, alive, expanded. And so the truth is, your natural state, believe it or not, is to be on the energized, expanded side of the internal compass that's in you. And so you are never really lost. I'm telling you this. I know you may feel lost. I know you may feel defeated. I know you may feel depleted. I know you may feel stuck. These are all temporary states. And one of the fastest ways for you to start to change how you feel about where you are in your life is to tune inward and to start to read the energy. Because if you feel stuck, your natural energy is depleted. If you feel despair, your natural energy is depleted. And the fastest way to start to shift that is to shift the energy inside you and to start to align your life towards things that energize you, okay? Things that excite you. And if you look at your life and you're like, oh my God, I don't know anything that excites me. I don't know anything that energizes me. Don't despair. I have something that you can do today that will help you to start to align your life in small ways towards things that naturally energize you. Many of you know that I'm a huge partner of Audible's, and we have just released a brand new Audible original project called Take Control of Your Life. You don't need to buy it if you're interested in it. It's called Take Control of Your Life. It's 6 coaching sessions. It's 10 hours long. There's a bazillion takeaways. And in the first coaching session, I talked to a guy named Dan who felt really stuck. He knew what he was passionate about. He didn't know how to follow it. If you don't know what you're passionate about, listening to the session will help you figure it out. But more importantly, your body knows what you're passionate about. Because all you have to do is start asking yourself, do I want to take a class in wine tasting? Do I want to take a class in gardening? Do I want to take a class in video production? Do I want to take a class in painting? Do I want to take a class in accounting? And whatever it is that your body's like, ooh, that sounds cool. That's what naturally energizes you because you reacted positively to it with enthusiasm, with excitement. I also talk about this, by the way, in Amy's session because Amy has no clue what her dream or her passion is, just like you might not have any clue. And so I asked her the questions I'm going to ask you. What energizes and excites you? And when you start to anchor the process of leaning into and opening up the passion inside you by asking yourself questions, what energizes me? What excites me? What are the things in my life that I have always been interested in? Who am I jealous of? What would I do for free? What do I want to learn more about? All these questions are about unlocking your natural curiosity, your natural energy, your natural enthusiasm. If you're in a bookstore, what topics do you naturally gravitate towards? When's the last time you felt energized? What are the things that come so easily to you? Inside of the answers to those questions, by the way, are everything that you need to know about unlocking more of a feeling of energy and excitement. You're not searching out there for it. You're looking for clues internally as to what gets awakened inside of you when you pursue things that energize you. So again, your new definition of passion. Passion is not a person, place, or thing. Passion is the energy that you feel when you're excited, when you're expanded, when you're learning new things. And so you got to start thinking about it and you've got to start feeling your way into it.
I'm an illustration artist and a little bit of a backstory. So starting with the sad stuff first. So my parents, my parents passed away, my dad in 2018 and my mother in 2019. 2 traumas for me, but therapy is going really, really well. So I'm good. I left my work field. I have a bachelor in educational science. So in German, it's Pädagogik in English, I don't know. Yep. And I opened my own online shop in January 2021, where I sell my illustrations and stuff. And I now have an exhausting part-time job, a cleaning part-time job, because I have to pay my bills. I have to live. And 12 hours a week. Like I said, really exhausting, but it's fine. That's
well, you also said though that you literally have no debt and you have savings, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Well, that's pretty damn good.
Yeah.
So one thing I want to point out to everybody.
Yeah.
I have a terrible habit of focusing on what's going wrong. You're not giving yourself enough credit.
Me?
Let me tell you, Elena, a different way to tell that story. I lost my mom and dad. Devastating. And I'm really proud of myself, which you did say, because I've done a tremendous amount of work and I've pulled myself up by my bootstraps and I sell my illustrations online. And you know what? Even though it's a lot of work, 12 hours a week, I work this job cleaning. It's enough to pay my bills. It gives me time to do other things. I have no debt. I have savings. And this girl has some big dreams. And that's why I signed up for B School.
Exactly.
And when I read your thing, you want to be a travel blogger, it sounds like.
Yes. Right.
Okay. Great.
Yeah.
Does that scare you?
Not at all. I'm pushing myself quite a lot. Even before my parents passed, I had the goal, okay, I want to make my illustration job and so on. But here's the thing.
Tell me the thing.
I'm doing this since, like I said, I draw for more years now, but I started the online business 2021. So
yeah.
And I'm not making that much income. Sometimes there are months where I'm making nothing. And that's totally fine because I'm at the beginning. I also have, that's also good to know. I have an Instagram. I have a YouTube channel. I love making videos. I'm learning so much. I started TikTok. I have my homepage. I'm writing blog posts. Mel, I also wrote a blog post about you.
Oh. I'll have to read it.
Yeah.
So let me ask you a question, because there's a huge theme here. You guys noticing the theme with everybody? You guys all have lots of stuff going on. And that's an important thing if you need to have a lot of stuff going on to make ends meet.
Mm.
And I love that you're saying that your illustrations and that store is at the very beginning of the process. And that's going to take time. That's true. But here's what I don't hear. What do you want your life to look like?
I want this to go pretty well. I want to be able, like I wrote, I want to be able to travel. And my goal is to make this happen next year. And so what do you mean by travel? See, the other thing I'm going to keep pointing out to everybody is that before you can figure out the plan or the map to get where you want to go, you got to pick your head up and point at what you want. And the more specific the destination, the better. It is impossible to give you great guidance and coaching if I don't know exactly what you want. Because here's the thing, if you really wanted life where you travel, I can tell you 10 travel bloggers that you should follow. You can stalk their stories, and with your skills, you could probably
be making money and doing that full time in a matter of 3 to 6 months, because there are magazines that are looking for freelancers to do that. Once you get with one hotel, they connect you with another hotel. Once you start tagging people, cafes, it is one of those things that builds. You've told me you have no debt, that you have savings, that you have a job that is 12 hours a week that is not keeping you somewhere. So what do you actually want?
I know when I do this next year. So my first goal is to go to Japan again for 3 months.
Okay.
And I know that at my part-time job, they won't let me go and say, okay, it's unpaid vacation. And when you come back here, you can start again. So I know, okay, it's kind of.
So here's what's interesting. You ready?
Yeah.
I'm going to push you a little bit.
Yeah, please.
Do you have, is that house that you're sitting in a place that you own that you have to pay for?
Nope, it's a flat. And it's the flat of my best friend. And I have to pay such less money.
Let me tell you something.
Yeah.
Your whole life is organized around what's happening at this 12-hour-a-week job.
Yes, exactly.
Do you know why I'm pointing that out?
No.
We are in the single best job market in 40 years.
What was my best job?
No. This is the best job market in 40 years. People cannot find people to work.
Yeah, exactly. Mm-hmm.
What I'm trying to tell you is that you're organizing your entire life around a part-time job.
I know where you're going.
Where am I going?
Yeah, I have the exact same thought. They are
no, but where am I
jobs.
going? Where am I going? I'm going to push you.
There are shitty jobs out there everywhere. I can.
There's a shitty job in Japan waiting for you.
Yeah, everywhere. I know. Yeah.
Your issue is courage.
Yeah. That's fun because courage is one of my things that I'm keeping pushing myself. Okay. Yeah.
Prove it.
Yeah. That's right.
I have a feeling that you holding on to where you are has to do with grieving.
Grieving and maybe, okay, my because I have a partner and he also lives here. But I think we can maybe hopefully figure something out.
Elena?
Yeah.
Hope is for children on Christmas morning who hope that they're going to get a certain present. You are a 33-year-old brilliant woman who has taken control of her healing, who has figured out how to set up an entire business around your illustrations. You have paid off your debt. You have savings. We are no longer in a game of hope. We are in the business of creating a life that's amazing. And that begins the moment you wake up and go, what the fuck am I doing? I'm worried about this job. I am going to call a meeting tonight with my partner and I'm going to say, here's what we're doing.
Yeah.
We are going to reinvent our lives. Fuck it. Let's figure out how to go to Japan for 3 months.
Mm-hmm.
Because this shitty job's going to be here. And so is this flat when we decide we don't like it. And if I burn through my savings trying to figure something out because I can't figure out how to make that work, then I'll just save more money.
Yeah.
You have nothing to lose.
I'm writing courage big on
courage. And courage means action.
Yeah.
You're going to feel afraid, but this is the day.
No, that's normal growth.
You're not going to grow in that flat. And you're not going to grow next year. And I'm not going to allow you to wait another year.
Yeah. And this is exactly what I'm feeling. Every time I wake up, I'm doing my stuff and I'm doing quite a lot of stuff. And I wrote it also to you. wait, let me point this out.
I saw it. I don't need this. You don't need that. I don't need this story. I don't care how much you're doing. You're doing the wrong stuff.
Yeah.
I'm fucking busy too. And for a long time, it was the wrong stuff, which is why I was miserable.
The only thing I felt, why I feel so, why I ask you if it's a naive or so, because I'm not making that much income or not at all income now. This is
Who cares? Who cares? So you're not making a lot of income, which only means if you stay in the place that you're in, you're going to stay trapped because you don't have enough income. You're not going to have enough income next year either.
Yeah.
Take a risk. Live a little. You can come back to this.
Yeah. This was exactly what I was feeling the whole time. And
I hope this is exactly what you do.
Yeah.
Because feeling it, unless it activates action, you might as well just fart, because it doesn't do anything. Like, it just is like, you need to get frustrated and say, I'm done with this. I am sick of myself. In fact, let's pick a date right now. What day are you going to Japan or going to another country or quitting this job? Give me the day. Let's commit publicly right now. It's March 22nd.
March or April.
Give me a date. Let's pull the calendar.
Okay, let's say April the 1st.
April 1st? Hell yes. All right, great. You're going to keep us posted on where you're doing and what your plan is.
I will.
Will you put Glow Autonomo, her account, in the in Instagram? Thank you. She started travel blogging, I think 7 years ago. And really amazing woman, really good friend of mine, super inspiring.
Okay.
She'll give you tips. And I think on her YouTube channel, she's got all kinds of stuff about how to get started. She's killer.
I also haven't found an illustrator who does this, because I would love to incorporate both.
Listen, I think your ideas are incredible. Go do them.
Okay.
Here's an illustration. You ready?
Yeah.
Give us an illustration of the moment that you got off your ass and quit that job. And then give us an illustration of you buying the plane ticket. And then give us an illustration of how scared you are as you see the savings go down a little. And then give us an illustration of what your partner looks like when he's like, wait, what? We're going where? And then give us an illustration of your first day in Japan.
Yeah.
And then take us on the journey with you.
Yeah.
All right. Awesome. You're awesome.
Thank you.
I can't wait. What kind of business do you have?
I have a photography business.
Fantastic.
And I've on my website, I've taken over 100,000 pictures.
Wow.
And I typically go to events, just like I have at least 20 pictures of you at the Success Conference when you kept coming out.
Awesome.
at that event.
Yeah.
And so therefore, I need to figure out a way to monetize that.
Have you submitted them to stock sites?
No, I haven't.
That's how you're going to monetize them.
Okay. Because I do media and I ask questions and I take pictures and that's what I do. But
so then let me tell you something. A big mistake that we make as entrepreneurs is we think that we've got to build everything ourselves. And what's super cool about business today is that there are channels where you can make money so that you don't have to do things that are outside your core expertise. You're a photographer. You're amazing at it. You're a networker. I can already tell. You're amazing at it. What you should never, ever do is spend time building a stock photography site, because that is not your core capability.
Okay.
But if you just focus on taking photos, which you love, and you upload the stuff that you're not going to monetize some other way to a stock photography site, as long as it's not other, it's not, as long as, you've got the rights to it and everything else, you can make money on that stuff all day long. And in fact, because so many people are creating content, the stock photography sites have exploded. It's not just Getty and Stocklist and some of the other ones that a ton of people use. There are tons of them out there. And so that's one thing that you should be doing.
Okay.
Where else do you want to grow your business?
I want to make sure I'm able to do that first step very well before I progress on to the next phase.
Okay.
I don't want to do so many different things that I'm not doing each one of them very well.
That's right. So anything where you're going to have to learn a new skill and somebody else has done it and you can outsource it, just like uploading to stock sites, that is, you don't want to make the mistake of having your attention go off the ball, which is creating a big library of photos and building something that you have no interest in building.
Okay, thank you so much. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Tell me about the next level
The next level
for your business.
for my business, the next 2 years, I do media. I get media passes and I go to concerts.
events.
And
Gotcha.
I go to the events and I ask questions.
And are they paying you to? So the next step is that you're not getting because right now it sounds like you're in the stage where you're getting the tag to go and shoot.
Correct.
And you're building a portfolio.
Yes.
The next step is to get paid to show up, to shoot for people. So what I want you to say now, the next time somebody asks you, so in order to time travel, one of the things that you do is you go ahead 2 years and then you figure out, well, what does business look like 2 years from now? And what am I doing differently? What do I say? How do I talk? How do my days go? One major change that will happen 2 years from now when you reach that level is when people ask you what you do, what you're going to say is, oh, well, I'm an event photographer and I do huge events like sporting events and concerts and South by Southwest. That's what my business is. And so when you say it that way, I get paid to go to concerts. I want you to then bring it back to today. And when people for the rest of the day say, what do you do? Say, well, I'm a photographer who is hired to go to big events and shoot them.
Okay.
And I am here because I want to meet event planners and people in the Austin area that need to hire a photographer for an event. You got it?
Yes.
You're going to start saying that now. You're going to feel like an imposter. You're going to feel, ooh, what are they going to know? Ooh, what do I charge? I don't know. And do you want advice on what to charge?
$200 an hour.
That's great. Yes.
Yes.
I love that.
That's
I love that. Here's another thing you can say. What's your budget? You might be underpricing yourself, especially his eyes just went, what do you mean? What do you mean, Mel? You might be underpricing yourself because are you giving the rights to the photos for $200 too? Yes, you are. I can tell based on the fact that the wheels are spinning upstairs because you're thinking, oh shit, maybe I shouldn't be. So what you're going to do is this. I think $200 an hour to start is great. And giving away the rights is totally fine because what you want to do is you want to have a couple people hire you. You want a couple key events. Then you've got those photos, right?
Yes.
You've got people that love working with you because you're delightful.
Thank you.
You're welcome. You are. And then what happens over time is you'll have the confidence, having done a bunch of them, to say there's a $1,000 fee for you to buy out the license to all the photos. And as you bump into more photographers and you get more and more into the space and you do it more and more, you'll have greater confidence to ask for those things and not even flinch. When you get paid $200 an hour, which is great, that's going to be great for a little while. And then you're going to be like, wait a minute. If I'm going to give away all the rights to these photos, it's going to have to be more.
Okay.
But first, get yourself busy working at that rate. And the way that you do it is tell people, I am a photographer that gets paid to photograph events. That's what I do.
I am a photographer that get paid to photograph events.
Why don't you look in the camera and tell people that? And tell people your name and where they can find you. Go ahead.
I am a photographer that photograph events. My name is Michael Lewis, Austin, Texas. I can be reached at atxdigitalphotography.com.
And how much do you charge? Because he's not doing this for free. How much do you charge?
And I'm not doing this for free. Just want to let you know I'm doing this for $200 an hour. I will give you the rights for now. Could change later, but
Yes, I love it.
Hire me now.
How does that feel to say that?
Oh, it feels great.
Okay, so I wanted to make this video because I know in some area of your life you are wanting to start something, you're wanting to put yourself out there more, and you are holding yourself back. And one place that I see this playing out all the time is the fact that so many people, probably you, are self-conscious and nervous about putting videos online. You're self-conscious and nervous about talking about your business or sharing the breakthroughs that you're having or just showing up in a bigger, bolder, more self-expressed way because heck, It makes your life more fun when you do. And so you have this deep yearning to be doing more. And then I know exactly what happens to you. You look at the number of people that follow you. You then say, who the hell am I to say that? You then go, nobody's going to watch it anyway. And I want to share with you brand new research that blows that lame excuse, although normal excuse, right out of the water. It was published literally this month from Ohio State University, and it proves that when it comes to video content, the video content that people find compelling has nothing to do with the number of views that it has. It has to do with the person and the message that's being communicated. To be compelling, to make an impact, to be influential, because I know everybody wants to raise their influence and their visibility and to show up in bigger ways. It is all about the message, and you're in control of that. Do you communicate with passion? Do you have conviction about what you're talking about? You could be talking about, whether you like white cords or these like black cords with this end, or whether you like this kind of end or this end, or whether you like this cap, or whether you, I love to drink this way because I have a big nose, and then this way. And I'm telling you, you don't have to have this thing on. You could literally talk about anything. And if you bring passion and you bring conviction to what you're talking about, people will pay attention. That's what real influence is. It's the ability to show up in ways and have conviction and passion about the things that you believe in. Whether you're talking about a water bottle cap or you're talking about how to be healthier, happier, or more effective in your life. So enough with the excuses, enough with worrying about how many followers you have or whether or not Aunt Sue is gonna like the video or not, or what people are gonna think. The only thing that matters is the conviction and passion that you communicate with, and of course, getting started. So based on the research, get started, put that video out, and why don't you tag me in it so I can give you a thumbs up when you do? If I were to ask you, what's your passion? Do you know the answer? Most of you are gonna say, no, I don't know what my passion is. And while we're on the topic of passion, I bet you're starting to even think, how do you even find your passion? And when it comes to finding your passion, you're making a huge mistake. You're looking for passion in the wrong place. And it's not your fault that you're making this mistake because you were told a lie. You were told you got to go find your passion. I even remember reading that if you find your passion, you'll never work a day in your life. But here's the problem. You've been led to believe that passion is something that you find, that it's like some magical career, or it's an amazing person, or it's a place that you're going to live, or it's a pursuit. Passion, it's none of those things. Let me tell you the problem with thinking that passion is something that you find. When you think passion is some treasure that's hidden from you, you're going to spend your whole life looking for something. That's going to make you feel lost. It's going to make you feel overwhelmed. It's going to make you feel confused. So let me show you the way. There's no such thing as finding your passion. You see, passion is not something that you find. Passion is something that you feel. If you're looking to find it, that thing that you were born to do, I want you to stop looking right now. Stop living your life like you're missing some sort of puzzle piece, and if you just find it, then everything is going to fall into place. Because passion isn't a person, a place, or a thing. Passion doesn't exist outside of you. You're not going to find it in a job. You're not going to find it on a mountaintop. You're not going to find it in a relationship. You're not going to find it online. And you're definitely not going to find it in a fancy hotel on the ocean in the Maldives. You want to know where you find it? Look in the mirror. Because passion is just energy. That's it. Passion is something you feel. Passion is not something that you find. Passion is the energy you bring to everything that you're doing. That's all that passion is. That's why you can be miserable, making millions on Wall Street, but you can be passionate as hell directing traffic on a runway for a fraction of the money. Because you know what? Passion is not what you do. It's how you do it. So when somebody says, I've discovered my passion, you know what they're really saying? I feel energized when I get up in the morning because I'm excited about how I show up in my life. and the energy that I feel when I'm living my life. That's it. Passion is just energy. And that's amazing news, because if passion is just energy, then passion is inside of you, and you're in complete control of how much energy you bring to everything you do, which means you are in complete control of how you live a more passionate life. That's the secret. So how do you live with more passion? Simple. Follow the energy. Stop asking yourself, how do I find it? And ask yourself, how do I bring more energy to my current life and to everything I'm doing right now? And the easiest way to follow the energy? Start by doing things that naturally energize you. And that could mean anything. It could mean sitting in the quiet and reading a book. It could mean talking to an old friend. It could mean working on a new business, even if it isn't successful. Heck, it might just be cranking up the music and singing at the top of your lungs on your commute to work. That's why passion is how you're living, not what you're doing. You see, passion isn't what you're pursuing. It's how you're pursuing it. And that's why I wanted to talk to you. I want you to change how you're living your life right now. Stop waiting until you find your passion to be happy, and start bringing positive energy to everything that you're doing today, and you'll start living a more passionate life right now. How do you split your passions? I'm passionate about my job, but I know it's not forever anymore. I'm also an entrepreneur and trying to build my own business. How do I find time for both until I can just focus on my business? Lizzie, fabulous question. And first, I want to give you a really surprising piece of information. This comes from one of my favorite authors. His name is Adam Grant. He wrote a fantastic book, The Originals. Just go buy it and read it, and trust me, you will be thanking me later because it's an amazing read. In the opening chapter, he dispels this myth that we all buy into, and that is that most successful entrepreneurs are these huge risk takers. Turns out that's not the case. Check this out. You're in good company if you're working full-time and trying to launch your business. There was a study that he cites where over the course of 14 years, 2 researchers followed 5,000 businesses. And guess what? The businesses that were launched by somebody like you who was working full-time while launching your business had a 33% less chance of failing than the people that quit their jobs and jump all in. And the reason why is you know how to hedge your bets. You're a little conservative in terms of the risks that you'll take, which means over the long term, your business is more likely to succeed. You asked me, how do I balance my passions? How do you find the time? Because I, like you, have a million things going on. From being an on-air commentator to CNN, to having an incredible partnership with Success Magazine and doing a ton of cool stuff with them, to giving over 80 speeches a year and running a company and having a family. The key is this. You must find 30 minutes before 7:30 in the morning. 30 minutes before 7:30 that you take at home, that you take at a coffee shop, where you organize your day and you work on 2 things that will push your business forward. 30 minutes before 7:30. Why do you need to do this? Well, because when you walk into work, your day is likely going to get hijacked. And secondly, if you were to take this time every single morning and focus yourself, you're now starting your day having already done work to advance your business, and you're walking into your current job knowing what you need to get done. That's going to make you work smarter at work. I think a lot of people that are working a job full time and also trying to launch a business on the side actually have the time. The problem is that you're not being rigorous and focused about what you're spending it on. I hope that helps. Keep in mind that you're in great company, Lizzie. You're in great company with other incredible entrepreneurs that actually didn't take the leap. They kept their job. Ever wear a pair of Spanx? Sarah Blakely, she kept her job while she launched that product for over a year. John Legend, he was crunching numbers as a consultant and singing at night in his mid-20s while he launched his music career. And the list goes on and on and on. So 30 before 7:30, get 2 things done during that time that'll advance your business, and you will be shocked at how quickly things grow. You think passion and purpose are the same thing. I hear those 2 words thrown around so much and swapped in and out of sentences that I need to say it is a major mistake to think that passion and purpose are the same thing. Because the fact is, they're completely different. And the other fact is, you need both passion and purpose in order to live an incredible life that you deserve to live. So let me unpack my simple way of thinking about passion versus purpose. So passion is something you feel. I think about passion as another word for energy. Passion is something you feel. Purpose, on the other hand, is something you do. Purpose is something you do. I'm going to distinguish passion and purpose at a secondary level. You ready? So passion is something you feel. Passion describes the energy that you feel. And the other cool thing about passion is for you. Passion is simply anything that makes you feel more energized in life. I'll give you an example. And I want you to think about what is something that brings passion into your life. And as you think of the thing that brings passion into your life, share it. Because when you share something that you're thinking, it always ignites and empowers and inspires somebody else that's watching this too. So for example, passion is for me. Passion is what I feel. Passion is the stuff that brings energy into my life. So here's my passion. You ready? I love to garden. I love to walk into a flower store. I love to savor a fabulous cup of coffee. I love and am passionate about watching stand-up comedy. I am passionate about hiking. I am passionate about, I'm actually passionate about the polar plunge challenge and doing cold exposure therapy. I'm passionate about getting together with our kids. I'm passionate about walks on the beach. I am energized by making plans to go somewhere. I am energized by cooking. All of these things that I'm listing are things that I do or things that I think about that infuse me with this energy. That's what passion is. And you need that in order to live an awesome life. And passion is so simple to bring into your life because passion is literally just about getting intentional, about filling your time with things that bring you energy. It kind of makes sense, right? That's all the passion is. And now that you understand this simple idea of what passion is, that it's something you feel, it's for you, it brings energy into your life, you now understand why people say, "Oh, I'm living my passion." I would never use that sentence because I think the accurate thing is I feel passionate about my work as a doctor. What they're saying when somebody says that is they're saying, "I feel energized by my work." And if you are one of the 89% of people that feel stuck right now, here's what I know. If you look at your day-to-day and your week-to-week life, you are not doing anything that naturally brings energy into your life, positive energy. And a simple way to flip the switch and bring more passion into your life is to become intentional about making time to do the things. Like Marianne, she's passionate about running, designing, chilling with her friends, connecting with people, helping connect people in business, nature, sunrises, so many things. Even writing the things, did you guys notice? Even writing down what brings energy into your life actually makes you feel more energized. So that's what passion is. Purpose is something you do, and purpose is what you do for the world. Purpose is this anchor that you attach yourself to, and it is the thing that you do for the world. It's how you show up for other people. It is the reason why you're doing things. It's sort of like, I'm going to give you another example. We've got the anchor, because when you're connected to why you do what you do, you will not feel adrift, okay? But I'm going to give you another example about purpose. So have any of you ever had a situation where you're like near a body of water and you either have your dog or somebody else's dog, and that dog runs into the water or the pond or the river or the muddy stream or the swimming pool, and then they come out and they shake, 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 shake all over you, and the water spreads everywhere, right? I also feel that purpose is that stuff that naturally shakes off you and hits other people. So I, for example, in the exchange that you just saw with me talking with Brendan, when Brendan's around me and he's like the dog shaking wet, what you get hit with is his purpose of serving, right? It just flies from the guy because it's what he gives to the world. And when you understand that purpose is just why you're doing something and how you're showing up for it, and the way in which you uniquely do it, that's your purpose. That's it. Passion is for you. Purpose is what you give to other people. So mistake number one is that you think they're the same thing. You use the words interchangeably. You're not quite thinking about the difference and why both are so important. Now let's jump into mistake number two. Mistake number two, I've sort of hinted at already. Mistake number two is you think you're just going to bump into it. You think that purpose or passion just kind of happens. That's not true. The biggest thing that people don't realize, myself included, is that it's something you have to be super intentional about. That when you wake up every day, you have an opportunity to bring passion into your life. You have an opportunity to decide how you're going to show up with a sense of purpose today. And this lack of intentionality is the reason why you feel stuck. It's the reason why you feel adrift. If you're on autopilot, if you're just going through the motions, if you're accepting good enough, if you're just barely surviving, you're not anchored to anything. And you're not going to just sort of float into what's meant for you. You need to have what I call a wake-up moment. You got to have a wake-up moment and go, I'm stuck and I'm sick of it. And being stuck, by the way, is a great thing. It's a wake-up moment because you just woke up and were like, you know what? I'm not feeling connected to something deeper here. I need to fix this. And so mistake number two is thinking you're just going to bump into it, that somehow staying on autopilot, blah, 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 blah. That's not going to happen. You got to make a decision that you're going to become intentional about infusing your day-to-day life with more passion, and that you're going to become intentional about aligning your focus, your attention, and your actions on something that you value. That's how it's going to happen. Well, how many of you can relate to this? You feel like you lose interest in the thing you pursue. You're super passionate, and then you flame out. And then you're super passionate, and then you flame out. And then you're super passionate, and then you flame out. Here's what's interesting about that pattern. Number one, it's a pattern. And sometimes patterns are broken, and sometimes patterns are just patterns. And when it comes to somebody who gets really fired up about something, and then you immerse yourself, and then you lose interest, here's what I know about you. You are basically, have you ever seen a hummingbird fly? Where it goes, shoo, 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 and it goes from like one flower to another flower to another flower to another. That's what you are in life. And that's okay. What that tells me is you're an incredibly curious person. And I'm the exact same way, by the way. I bet I've changed careers like 23 times. And I'm about to change careers again because for the last year, I have been a daytime syndicated talk show here in the United States. And come the end of September, when my show stops airing on television, I will have reinvented myself again. Why? Not because I'm a failure, not because I'm losing interest, but because I'm constantly interested in learning. And so, number one, stop making yourself wrong if you dart from one thing to the next. Number two, find the power in that pattern. And the power in that pattern is that you're energized by learning new things. The power in that pattern is you're a curious person. And so if you truly do want to find something and stick to it, I would consider either an industry or a role where you're always going to be learning something, or I would consider going into teaching, where your intellectual curiosity can help you deepen your knowledge of things and continue to bring a new approach to it. But that kind of interest that comes and goes and fades, that's not a flaw, that's a strength. And you got to put that to your advantage and stop beating yourself up. Maybe you're never supposed to have a career. Maybe your life is going to be an amazing collection of experiences that all stack up into one of the most amazing journeys on the planet. Because unless you're going to do a career that requires a very deep technical skill set, whether you're going to be an engineer, whether you're going to be a doctor, whether you're going to be a physicist, whether you're going to be a chemist, whether you're going to be something that requires technical expertise, one thing to remember is every single thing you do in the career vertical is building a skill or an experience or a network of people that you take into the next thing that you do. And so stop beating yourself up, embrace the hummingbird pattern in yourself, and either find a career that allows you to learn lots of new things all the time and have new experiences all the time, or get into a mode of celebrating this curiosity in you. The art and the skill of building a life that is guided by the things that you're passionate about.
Yeah, that's great.
So what is something that you're worried about or feeling insecure about, or that like is the next big thing for you? I know you got a big book launch coming.
Yeah, that's one thing. I mean, I'm talking about a topic on masculinity. Actually, before...
Where are you going? Are you going to do something with my...
I'll mention that, but
Okay.
Here's the thing also I wanted to add. If this is, mastering the skills,
Yeah.
and this is working on it or executing it,
Right.
if we, just to emphasize this, I was great at these two things as well my entire life, and I would achieve all my goals by executing the work on the skills. But I never had the fulfillment, and I was always lacking the inner peace or the inner, I don't know, it was just never enough. And so I never filled this up. I always went back to the mastering more skills and taking more action and mastering skills, and just feel like it was never enough.
I hear you.
So I never filled up this cup.
Right.
And once I started to, about 4 years ago, opening up about a lot of the different traumas that I went through as a child, and just like growing up, being sexually abused by a man that I didn't know, my brother being in prison, parents getting divorced like almost every kid. It was, and being bullied, just everything, and being dyslexic and being in the bottom of my grade and all these things growing up all through school, not being able to read and write. I never filled this up. And so I was just so driven to prove people wrong, learn the skills, master something, and show people that they're wrong about me. And it was just never enough. It was just this endless cycle of like never enough. No matter how big, how much money I made, it was never enough until I started to work on this cup and this bucket, and then everything shifted. So it's important that we do that as much as these two.
Yes, and I know sometimes a message falls flat. When you're in this, when you're committed to providing that kind of content for people, and you can get focused on creating it and not actually being somebody that is consuming enough of it. And so that's a huge change that I made. Funny enough, on the male side, one of the biggest shifts that happened in my marriage with Chris is we had always been kind of even Steven partners, both with the parenting and with the finances and supporting one another, except for that phase where I was a real bitch and I was like saying you cannot follow your dreams. That was all fear talking.
Sure.
One of the coolest things that's happened for us is that as my speaking career took off organically, and the world basically said, lady, you need to teach the world this message, and we don't care how much you're going to kick and scream about it.
Right.
We're going to keep putting you on stages, and the phone's going to keep ringing, and we need to know about, people need to know about this. My husband had always, like you, youngest of 3 boys, dad was crazy successful, wasn't around because he traveled all the time. Chris had always had this thing in his mind that he hoped that they would grow the restaurant business, and he would have this big kind of, liquidity event. And then he could take off 4 years and teach and be with our kids. And it just so turned out that it didn't work out that way in the restaurant business, but my career went like this. And so subsequently, we wouldn't be able to have the marriage or the family if Chris weren't running point at home.
Right.
And what's so
Someone's
cool,
got to be there.
well, yeah, but what's so cool is for an entire year, he beat himself up about it.
Uh-huh.
And then he got sober. He went to a yoga intensive training. He's now a certified yoga instructor. He has a tractor. Wow. He runs the booster club for our high school sports. He created a triathlon in our town. That's one of the biggest fundraisers for the town.
That's
the
cool.
guy has found himself and his strength. And we've realized something in our marriage where he's just not driven in terms of the financial piece or the in the way that I am. And part of the conflict in our relationship for a long time was me putting those societal demands on him, him feeling the obligation. And so the thing that's also been really cool is that when you start to discover the courage to speak what's true for you, it's amazing how things shake out and fall into place, and it gives other people the courage to explore and figure out what's true for them. Because the fact is, he is a way better parent than I am, especially for the ages that our kids are. And I have this saying where I feel like every phase of your life requires a different you. And the phase that I'm in right now and the kind of parent that I am will be totally different when our daughter heads off to college next year. Different phase of my life is going to require a different phase of me. And so it's been so killer to see us step into this different phase where he is so happy and self-expressed. And, I was reminded of it because you talked about this project, and I want to hear more about it, about what you're working on, because he's now launching this tiny little retreat for guys.
Cool. Wow.
He's a big Knowles guy, so they're going off into the mountains and really exploring. Success is one thing. What does it actually mean to be satisfied with your life on your own terms and who you are? And so he's in this really cool inquiry about what does satisfaction with your life really look like when you take full responsibility for what truly matters to you.
Powerful.
Yeah.
Yeah, fulfillment. I mean, we can all learn how to be successful, but if we can't be fulfilled, then it's a failure,
Hey, it's Mel. Thank you so much for being here. If you enjoyed that video, by God, please subscribe, because I don't want you to miss a thing. Thank you so much for being here. We've got so much amazing stuff coming. Thank you so much for sending this stuff to your friends and your family. I love you. We create these videos for you, so make sure you subscribe. Mwah.